Divorce in New York City, I mean, it's practically its own world, am I right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you're smart to really be looking into this, especially when it comes to finding the right people to help you out, legally.
Yeah.
So you're looking into Brian D. Perskin and Associates.
Oh, no, okay.
Interesting choice. Let's see what they're all about.
Yeah, it's a smart move to be thorough in your research.
Mm-hmm.
Having the right lawyer in your corner can make all the difference in a city like New York, where family law is so intricate.
Right. And their website definitely highlights experience, like over 40 years combined experience.
Okay.
They've got offices in both Brooklyn and Manhattan, which I imagine is pretty crucial for anyone having to navigate the boroughs during a divorce.
Yeah, sure.
Plus, they handle everything from contested and uncontested divorce to child custody, spousal support, even prenups. They really do seem to do it all.
Yeah, that range of services is interesting. They're not just handling the fallout of a divorce, but also helping couples establish agreements beforehand.
Right.
This suggests they've really witnessed both the I guess you could say, the highs and lows of relationships, which could give them a unique perspective.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, 40 plus years combined experience in NYC family law, is that the standard? What does that even tell us about a firm in a city like this?
Honestly, longevity doesn't always equate to expertise. However,
Right.
in a competitive market like New York City, 40 years suggests they're doing something right.
Yeah.
It hints at a deep understanding of the city's legal landscape
Mm-hmm.
and a track record of navigating its complexities.
So it's not just about how long they've been around, but how they've managed to stay in the game, right?
Exactly.
And handling both prenups and divorce, that feels like seeing both sides of the same coin.
Absolutely. It's essential to understand what you're dividing before you can untangle it.
Right.
Their experience with prenups likely informs their approach to divorce cases, potentially giving them an edge in negotiations and settlements.
That's a fascinating insight. It's like they've got the blueprint for both building and dismantling a legal agreement.
Precisely. They're not just reacting to a crisis, they're strategizing with a broader view of family dynamics and legal ramifications.
Okay.
This kind of experience can be invaluable, especially in a city like New York, where divorce law can be incredibly nuanced.
Yeah. Okay, so they claim to be experts, but what do real people who've worked with them have to say?
Right.
Time to dive into the trenches. Client reviews.
Yeah, client testimonials can offer really valuable insights.
Mm-hmm.
They provide a glimpse into what it's actually like to work with a firm beyond just like the polished website copy.
Totally. And some of these are really compelling. Like Cynthia's story, she was worried about her dad keeping his house during his divorce, which I imagine is a huge concern for a lot of families in New York City.
Yeah.
She said Brian and the team pulled through, making it worth every penny. What kind of strategies do you think come into play in a situation like that?
Keeping a marital home during a divorce, especially in a real estate market like New York City,
Right.
can be incredibly complex. It often involves, careful financial analysis, potentially restructuring assets, and really understanding the nuances of property division laws in the state.
Wow.
For Cynthia's father to keep his home suggests that Brian D. Perskin and Associates were able to craft a really strategic argument and navigate those complexities effectively.
That's a good point. It's one thing to say you advocate for your clients, but to actually deliver on that promise, especially when something as important as a family home is at stake, that speaks volumes.
Absolutely. It suggests a deep understanding of not just the legal technicalities, but also the emotional weight these cases carry for clients.
And speaking of emotional weight, so many reviewers mention feeling overwhelmed by the divorce process.
Yeah.
Jordan, for instance, was initially lost, but found Brian's guidance invaluable, calling his advice spot on. That need for clear, helpful guidance comes up again and again. B. Morrison, another client, was grateful for the firm's ability to explain complex legal stuff in understandable terms. Is that common, being able to break things down like that? Because I imagine even the terminology can feel like a foreign language when you're going through it.
You're absolutely right. Divorce law is full of jargon and intricate procedures that can be incredibly daunting for someone who's not familiar with the legal system.
Yeah.
The ability to communicate clearly, to explain things in plain English without talking down to clients is crucial.
Right.
And it seems to be a consistent strength highlighted in these reviews.
It's like they're not just legal experts, they're translators too, bridging that gap between the complexities of the law and the human experience of divorce.
Precisely. And that's essential for empowering clients to make informed decisions about their own lives.
And it's not just about legal strategy and clear communication either, right? There's a human element that comes through in these reviews, a sense of genuine care and support.
Yeah, no, you're totally hitting on something I've noticed throughout these reviews. A lot of clients talk about that feeling of support from Brian D. Perskin and Associates, like they were genuinely cared for during such a, tough time in their life.
Right, and that's actually a crucial aspect of family law that often gets overlooked.
Oh, really?
Yeah, divorce is incredibly stressful, emotionally draining, and having a lawyer who not only understands that legal side, but also provides empathy and support can make a world of difference.
Totally. It's like the human touch makes all the difference, especially when you're dealing with something as personal and as emotionally charged as a divorce. Exactly. It's about advocating for your client's best interests while also acknowledging the emotional toll of the process.
Yeah, speaking of advocating, let's talk about the man himself, Brian D. Perskin.
Okay.
His bio mentions over 30 years of experience in the NYC divorce court system, which feels almost unheard of in such a fast-paced world.
Right.
They describe him as this, like, tough, sharp litigator, but then you read the reviews and words like honest, compassionate, straight shooter pop up. It's like, he's like a real-life Atticus Finch fighting for his clients with both grit and heart.
It's an interesting comparison, but that combination is essential for a successful family lawyer, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
You need that sharp legal mind, that willingness to fight for your client's rights, but you also need empathy to navigate the complexities of family dynamics and the emotional roller coaster of divorce.
Absolutely. It's like walking a tightrope, and it sounds like he manages to do it with grace. Several clients even called him out specifically for his honesty, even when it wasn't necessarily what they wanted to hear.
That honesty speaks volumes about his integrity.
It does.
It's easy to tell clients what they want to hear, but a good lawyer levels with them, even when it's difficult.
Right.
This builds trust and ensures the client understands the reality of their situation.
Makes you think about that old saying, honesty is the best policy, right? It really seems to resonate with Brian D. Perskin's approach. So let's bring it all home. We've covered a lot of ground here, from the firm's experience and services to the client testimonials and Brian Perskin's unique approach. What are the key takeaways here, especially for someone maybe listening who's navigating this world for the first time?
I'd say the overarching theme is one of, well-rounded expertise.
Okay.
Brian D. Perskin and Associates have clearly carved a niche for themselves by not only understanding the intricacies of New York City divorce law,
Right.
but also prioritizing clear communication, empathy, and unwavering support for their clients. This combination is likely why they've garnered such positive feedback and continue to thrive in what is a very competitive market.
Yeah, and something that really struck me throughout this whole deep dive is the emphasis on honesty. Both from the firm's perspective and echoed by their clients, it feels like they value transparency and straightforward communication above all else. So, as you continue your research, I'll leave you with this question. How important is it to you to have a lawyer who, shoots straight from the hip, even when it might be, well, hard to hear? Food for thought as you navigate this next chapter.